Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, transforming the way people think and work so their organizations can thrive. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Jose Zavala. As the founder and principal disruptor at ZTX Advisors, Jose has 8 years of public accounting experience. Jose spent his career working with small and medium businesses through various CPA firms. He specializes in the intricacies of running small and medium businesses. You'll be well looked after with Jose's background in advisory as well as income tax preparation and planning services, and his claim to fame is that he has played 1 year of college soccer at Alvin Community College. All right, welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Jose Zavala.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Yes, that is my one claim to fame. I played 1 year of college ball at a community college. So,
Jose, I got to ask you, why do you do what you do?
That's a great question, Ed. For me, it's all about helping people. I've always had the affinity to help people. I've always wanted to do something that's going to provide some kind of value and help somebody, whether it is better themselves in life or in any aspect. I've always been like that since I was a kid. And originally, I wanted to be a math teacher because I wanted to teach, show people math. And I love math. I'm one of those, math geeks that love it. And but then I realized I don't want to be just a teacher. So I got into thinking accounting was, numbers. We all know accounting really isn't numbers. It's more of rules and knowing where things go and stuff. But I got into it, started working with clients, realizing the difference I could make, helping people really succeed, build their dreams, what they want to do, and just kind of led into this. And now I'm able to help people out, how they, be able to work with them, make sure that they understand how to run their businesses, how to effectively scale, how to grow. And then as I started working in this, I realized that there's a big kind of gap between in the Latino community, in the Latinx community. And that's where I decided, okay, you know what? I would like to go in there and provide some service for my community and kind of help build the wealth that way. So it's just been kind of like a step-by-step process to be able to get to that. So at the end of the day, just to circle back around, I love to help people and to help somebody achieve their dream and say, man, I made it. I made the American dream happen. That, and to be part of that is something amazing.
And let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about what the impact of COVID-19 has been on the Latinx community as you see it.
It's been devastating. Traditionally the Latinx community does not have the same access to funding, to grants, to loans as other communities do. Whether because they're ITIN holders sometimes, or they're maybe they are legal residents or citizens, but they just don't understand, what's going on, or they're very weary or scared of the IRS or doing anything wrong. And then also as well, sometimes there are people serving the community that have good intentions, but just don't have the educational background to really help them properly the way they should. And so because of that, traditionally, you'll see a lot of times, at least the Latinx community is super underfunded. They're the ones most impacted, especially health-wise and everything as far as COVID goes. They're one of the communities that got hit really hard with COVID. And then on top of that, the businesses are struggling because they're having to find ways to essentially survive, and limited access to funds and everything. So it's been a really tough year or two for the community, but at the same time, you get to see the power and the love and how the community is starting to help each other out, and helping brother and sister and aunt and uncle and neighbor to kind of make sure, let's get through this together. And so that's been really amazing to be able to see a lot of colleagues of mine, a lot of people out there really helping out their neighbor, making sure, hey, we're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure that you're going to get past this as well.
And let's apply it to the specific now. I mean, there are certainly gig workers and small businesses in all communities, but probably especially in the community that you in particular serve. And I noticed that there are changes to PPP. How do you think those things are going to affect the folks that you work with on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, I think it's going to be tremendous. With the new changes that just came out that President Biden was talking about, we're having, I believe, a 2-week window where they're going to be able to, instead of using the net amount from line 31 on your Schedule C, from what I've been reading, you get to use your gross income amount, and ITIN holders, if they have employees, are able to get access to the money as well. So that's going to be really beneficial because, while ITIN holders may not be necessarily citizens or anything, they still pay taxes. They still file tax returns, and everything. And so they don't get access to a lot of the credits or a lot of the deductions that traditionally you get being a citizen, but they still, a lot of them still pay their taxes, still pay in, still want to be, 100% correct. They're ITIN holders, but they're still out there hustling, making money and paying their fair share of taxes. So with this, opening this up to them, it's going to be really beneficial, especially the gross income amount, because traditionally sometimes if you're in a industry where your margins are really small, restaurants, things like that, especially if you're running a small mom and pop taco shop where your margins are really thin, yeah, you look at your net income, it's going to be minimum. But if you can look at your gross, that's going to open up a little bit more and be able to provide you hopefully a little bit more access to capital to get you past that hump, get you past where you need to be, so that we can survive this and kind of get back to that, what they call the normal of what it is, whenever that does come.
Yeah, so cases continue to fall, and we can certainly hope that is the case, but we never know when this thing is going to turn around again. Really specifically, though, is there anything that has been helpful from a gig worker perspective with regard to PPP as well?
The big thing I would say, honestly, is working with somebody that knows what they're doing. And I'll tell you this, because I have a colleague of mine that we work really closely this whole tax season. We were helping each other out. And there are actually people out there working with somebody that knows what they're doing, because there are people out there that are actually actively trying to defraud the system and just make a quick buck, where they'll say, hey, and we came across a situation where there was a guy who contacted one of his clients and said, hey, I can get you PPP money. And it was supposed to be, it's for the second round. And we all know the second round, you have to have the 25% reduction in revenue. Well, this client didn't have the 25% reduction, but this person approached him, said, for X amount of fee, I can guarantee you to do that. And then after we had the conversation with him, it was just, they were throwing out payroll numbers and things like that. And it's like, no, it has nothing to do with that. It has a revenue reduction. He's like, oh, I can make a bank statements to show that. And I'm like, you don't mess with it. This is government money. Like, no, that's legit fraud. Like, you're going to go to jail for that. But that's the thing. There's a lot of people taking advantage. For those that are looking for that help, there are people that at the same time see this as an advantage. So, hey, I can get you that money. And they may be able to skirt the system and somehow push it through. But when it comes time for the forgiveness portion, that's a different story.
Yeah.
And to prove that revenue drop. So,
yeah, definitely tough, especially when I know, as one accountant said to me, they've been issuing clarifications of clarifications, and that always makes it challenging. So, Jose, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours, and why are they a hero?
Good question. It's a really great question. Honestly, I'd have to say my dad. My dad, he came to this country 10 years old, didn't know the language, really got picked on, had to essentially fight bullies off, literally, and really made, worked himself, made a good living here, found a good job, and now he's a pretty successful commercial real estate agent, and he just retired he was working at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. So he's doing commercial real estate now. And so just watching him and his whole story and how, just the stuff that he had to go through, had to live through and working, seeing him. I remember working 7 days a week, overtime, 12-hour days, nonstop. Or we had, even when he was working a whole bunch, he'd work Friday. So he'd work Friday morning, come home, take a nap, work Friday night from like 11 to 7 a.m., get up, take us to our soccer tournaments, and up all day at the soccer tournaments, and then on the way home would sleep, and then again up on Sunday to take us back out there. So that's a man that, yeah, he really showed what truly a man's willing to do for his family, and that. So he is one of my he is actually my hero. So.
And lastly, Jose, how can somebody contact you?
So best way, Twitter or Instagram, ZTX Advisors. That's probably the best place you're going to find me. Primarily Instagram. I'm on there way too much. That's where all my clients live, and all of my the industry that I serve, they're on Instagram. So that's where I'm at the most. But if not, email jzavala@ztxadvisors.com, and I'm always open to meeting new people.
All right. Jose Zavala, founder and principal disruptor at ZTX Advisors. Thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thank you.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.